What's good, y'all? I'm here to talk about the GOAT, Walking Wake. I love all three of this trio. I really do love them. I'm here to talk about the buffs and changes I've made to them in my ROM hack. Okay, so all these changes are not balanced whatsoever for any sort of competitive play, so sorry if I clickbaited you with the thumbnail or with the title a little bit. Also, if you're wondering what this music is, normally I just use official music, but I'll shout out Zane real quick because this is not official music, so I gotta shout him out. Zane. I thought it was fucking dumb that these guys don't get exclusive music. I don't know, and this was a good remix, so. Anyway, or not even a remix, it's like its own custom thing with like a bunch of different shit. Anyway, I'm getting very sidetracked already. If you can't tell, I've been bulk recording a bunch. But I will say, if you are new here, I really do appreciate you clicking on this video. And I highly recommend that when you're done with this one, you check out all the other ones. You subscribe if this type of thing is interesting to you. And a bunch more cool stuff that I'm here to talk about. But most importantly, if you are new here, I recommend you pause the video and read the description. It'll give you a lot of background information for how the ROM hack is balanced and why it's balanced that way. So give that a little read. And when you're done with the video, you can check out the other videos for the other members of the trio. And you can also check out the Discord server. That's pretty dope. And then the move sheet on the Google Sheet down below. Definitely give this a look if you haven't yet. Super important stuff here. It basically changes how all the Pokemon function because moves are an inherent part of how the game works, right? So anyway, Walking Wake, I got some really cool stuff here. So I personally love the idea of Walking Wake. I probably should have pulled up like a picture of him. I can find one real quick. Hold on. Like I have fucking pictures of Walking Wake in the real game. I mean, if you don't know, he's fucking massive. So I really like the idea of him and also Raging Bolt being mixed attackers. I think it's super unique and cool, and I like it. They're big ass dinosaurs. I think they can be able to attack on both sides of the spectrum. Not gouging fire, but Walking Wake and Raging Bolt. So in this case, I gave Walking Wake Brute Force, which seems kind of mid when you don't, when you look at it at face value. But in a ROM hack context where locking yourself into a move is not really a big downside, it is somewhat of a downside. I'll get into that in a bit, and for why Quick Feet is, why Brute Force isn't outclassed, for example, by Quick Feet. Why Brute Force doesn't outclass Quick Feet. Because Scarf Brute Force is very similar to Quick Feet in the regard that you're getting speed and offense at the same time. Because you're 129 special attack versus 143 base attack with Brute Force, right? Let me try to find that picture of Walking Wake, man. I don't know if I can find it. Do I not have a... Oh, okay, wait, I know how to do it. I was typing in Scald stuff. I have pictures. Hold on, guys. I'm gonna find them, but I'll try to... Okay, I found it, yeah. He's fucking huge, dude. I love him. Open, like... There we go. So now you should be able to see it on screen now. So yeah, my man is massive. This is not a very good image right now. It's like low res because it's zoomed in a bunch. But yeah, he's fucking cool. I love Walking Wake, bro. Such a sick design. They cooked so hard. But yeah, Quick Feet is obviously very fitting. I don't need to explain why I chose that in terms of flavor. But Brute Force, again, I see him being like this, like, again, just attacking from both sides. And huge power, spoiler alert, is on Raging Bolt because he's huge. And I'll get into that and more in his video. So if you're curious more about why that is, watch his video after this one. Actually, yeah, no, it should have been out already because I'm doing this in a specific order. Anyway, Brute Force, super cool. So the main difference between Quick Feet and Brute Force here is that essentially Quick Feet is honestly borderline broken with Steam Shot later on. So of course you've also got all these exclusive burn moves, right? Because Walking Wake's whole thing is like burning and being this like past dinosaur type of thing that is like burning shit. So Steam Shot comes from Steam Eruption, and essentially it's like a really quick, relatively weak, but not actually weak, priority move that is single use, and it gets you a guaranteed burn, so that's great both defensively and offensively, right? And the main, I would say, benefit of that with Quick Feet is that either you can use it to get a free Quick Feet trigger on a lead, and also burn them, or I would say more importantly, because you can always just trigger Quick Feet by switching in on a pivot, right? Like you either slow pivot in, or you pivot on a resist, which of course Water Dragon has plenty of, or just, you use their natural bulk. I did give them huge HP because I do try to base HP more on the size of the Pokemon now. Not entirely, it's not always going to work out that way, but in the cases of all three of these guys, they've got one, here I'll actually show them. So you got 121 HP and then 141, so I like that little stat pattern that they follow, and then you've got 141, 141, all types of cool little stat patterns here. But now I got messed up the format, man, whatever. Give me a second, guys, even though I'm pretty sure most people are not looking at the screen. Let me know if you're looking at the screen at this point in the video, or if you're all just listening in the background. It's useful information for me to know. I'm pretty sure most of you probably are background listening, which is totally fine. I do the same thing. Yeah, Brute Force, super sick. So the main thing I was trying to get at with the Quick Feet stuff is that Quick Feet, number one, the most obvious thing is that it allows you to switch your moves, right? Of course, you take a bit of Flame Orb chip, but that's very, very, very negligible in an in-game context in like a ROM hack where you can plan out the boss fight and know exactly what health range you're going to be at, basically. Not a big deal at all. Very negligible HP loss. It's not nothing, but it is pretty much, pretty much nothing. Also, stuff like Calm Mind, Quick Feet is obviously very, very good. I threw Calm Mind on there because Suicune normally is known for using it, and I think it makes enough sense. Might take it off because I don't really love sweeping, to be honest, but I figured it's cool enough. But the main thing I would use Quick Feet for is either just to switch in, blow something up, and switch out, because you also have pivot moves like U-turn and flip turn to switch out after you click your, for example, Draco Meteor, Hydro Assault, Hydro Cannon type moves. Although with Hydro Assault you'd be using Brute Force with Scarf, but you get my point. Those are really cool. And then also being able to switch your moves is huge because with Brute Force you can't do that. So you can get multiple kills in a row easier, but the advantage of Brute Force is that you're stronger, right? 143 versus 129. I was actually really conflicted about how big of a gap to put between these attacking stats, because initially I had it as just 83 attack, right? Which is roughly base 150. So it's like 150 base versus 125, and I don't know if I liked that gap that much, although as I realized later down the line, Quick Feet is so good with the Steam Shot shit that it maybe evens out, but Steam Shot isn't until later in the game, so I don't know. I think this is okay. I don't want physical to be his main thing, I more so just want it to be a good option, so... Not to mention the nature of your Walking Wake, whatever nature you pull can also put a huge difference in your attacking stats as well. So, and it's also up to personal preference, and also just the difference in boss fights, right? Because a boss fight might have a more physically bulky mon that you want to switch to special sets for, and then the very next one has a more especially defensive mon that you want to switch to a physical set for. So it's really up to you. You have full flexibility with Move Relearner. You can completely change your set from one fight to another, so that's why I love mixed attackers in this hack, and that's why I made this guy one. And aside from the fact that I just think it's really cool. So yeah, Hydro Steam is really good, obviously, just as like a consistent, it's like essentially the same thing as Torrential Pulse, but it burns. So much so that I could probably put Torrential Pulse a bit earlier, but I don't know, it's fine. Maybe I'll rework the moves a little bit, but I mean, 54 versus 60 is a good amount of boss fights. It's fine, who cares? I think it's probably fine. Because his level ups are already pretty crowded, and I wanted to fit everything else. Maybe I'll get rid of Overheat or something, I don't know. I do like Overheat though. Overheat is essentially, so Blast Burn is now what Overheat was in vanilla, and then Overheat is Special Flare Blitz, so those are both really nice options. You also got Bursting Flames even like defensively, like Scald, Morning Sun, Battle Cry, like so many fun ways you can build this guy, like purely defensively, because again, that 121 HP, despite the slight decreases in his defensive stats, he's overall bulkier now because of that HP increase. So 121, 80, 80, 81, 81 rather, is really good bulk overall, especially for something that's so offensive. So Quick Feet, another thing I want to cover, Quick Feet / Scarf Brute Force, because of course Banded Brute Force is like insanely strong, and you can definitely use that, especially if you get a plus speed nature, or if you're just trying to one-shot something that's super tanky, then you can slap on a Banded Brute Force. It always depends on the boss fight. You have so much flexibility with these types of abilities, right? But a lot of the time, Brute Force is encouraging Scarf, unless it's a really slow Pokemon. But in this case, you're very fast. Not very fast, that's what I was trying to say. Actually, you're not that fast, because you're not guaranteed a plus speed nature. So you're only hitting 306 speed, which isn't even outspeeding base 90, I believe. Nope, you're speed time with base 90, so on the AI, base 90. So definitely not bad or anything, but you're going to be wanting to use Quick Feet or Scarf a lot if you want to outspeed a lot of faster threats on the AI's teams. Which, is fine. That's why they have these types of abilities. Yeah, Protosynthesis is sadly a little bit, not bad, but it's like a little bit more situational compared to Quick Feet and Brute Force now. It's still good. Number one, you can still use it for a special attack boost if you want to outspeed something. If you're already outspeeding something slower, it's even better if you get a plus speed nature. Booster speed Proto is not really worth it when Quick Feet is right there, so it's mostly just for special attack. Or I would say the main benefit of Proto is if you're in the sun. So special attack boosting Protosynthesis in the sun with a Scarf goes crazy, of course. However, the downside with Scarf is that you can't spam Hydro Steam, right? Because in the sun, Hydro Steam goes from 120 to 180, and it always burns, but you can't click that twice in a row, so you have to switch out after you click that once with Scarf. So yeah, there's definitely things to consider there, and that's also why it's really good with Quick Feet, because again, Quick Feet allows you to switch moves. But I was trying to get this earlier. The main benefit of Quick Feet later on in the game over Brute Force Scarf, outside of just the situations I described earlier with the defensive stats of the opponent and all the other factors that go into it, another big factor is that Steam Shot as a priority move, a flinching priority move, essentially allows you to cheese the Quick Claw on the AI, right? So the Quick Claw in the back, it's a single-use consumable item. Quick Feet outspeeds everything with, Walking Wake, Quick Feet outspeeds everything in the game for the most part at +1. So you can essentially use this, and then whenever that Quick Feet mon comes in to threaten you out, you click Steam Shot, you get a free burn and free damage, and then you outspeed next turn because the Quick Claw is gone. So definitely a bit broken. But I mean, it's okay. I'm okay with these guys getting a little bit broken because they are like legendary paradoxes. They are still usable and they're intended to be used, but maybe don't spam them all, or the whole thing is bounced around Teamlocked anyway, so you can only end up using these guys if you lose Pokemon at that point in the game. So yeah, I don't know what else to say. I mean, Ancient Force is obviously good for coverage. It's essentially Judgment, so that's good for coverage, but not the most useful thing in the world. I would say it's especially good with, like, if you got a plus speed nature, or if you're trying to, again, one-shot something slower than you that is naturally slower, but not a lot of things. I mean, nothing that is very fast is, but obviously tankier, slower mons than the AI's teams will be. Arcane Fangs even could be useful with Brute Force on like a defensive set. I mean, you've got so much room to cook and change your EVs and your items and your moveset around, right, to fit the situation. So that's always really fun. Yeah, I don't really know what to say. It's very self-explanatory. That Steam Shot is exclusive to him and Volcanion only. So that's a very, obviously it's incredibly powerful. So there are 3 flinch moves that burn. Scovillain Spicy Extract, which you get at level 35, which is super early, but it doesn't do nearly as much damage. But of course, it's way earlier in the game. 65 is the very, very, very end of the game. That is literally the last 8 boss fights in the game. Meanwhile, Spicy Extract is like over half of the game legal for. But the only other one is Sandsear Storm, which is another, type of flinch move. But the downside of Sandsear Storm is you have to use Wide Lens. But the reason I did that is because there are tons more Sandsear Storm mons in the game. So making them hold Wide Lens for a free 90 base power burn move, that's a priority, is pretty crazy. So, of course, having them hold Wide Lens is a fair drawback. But in this case, it's an exclusive. I mean, it's an exclusive move, so I think it's cool. Let him cook, man. Let my goat be a little broken. It's okay, man. Fun as hell. I mean, super fun to use, dude. Even just like simple Wave Crash, Scarf, Brute Force, Dragon Hammer, all that fun shit. I mean, he's got so many, like Temper Flare. I mean, so many cool ass moves. I also threw Mega Horn on there, which is Bug CC. Again, if you get different Terra types, that'd be super cool too. Like if you pull Terra Bug, then Brute Force Mega Horn goes crazy. If you get Brute Force First Impression Choice Band goes crazy. All this fun shit that you can take advantage of, right? Temper Flare is really fun. I mean, so many cool moves, and I don't even know where to start. Obviously, in the rain, he's also good, but in the sun, he's also very good, so that's fun. Mud Bomber is a good coverage move. Earthquake, Brute Force is a good move. I threw Earth Power on there as well. I think I see all of those moves pretty reasonably. Other dragons like Hydreigon get it, and Walking Wake is like this ancient being. I can totally see him using shit like Earth Power, and definitely EQ. I was surprised he didn't get that one to begin with, to be honest. Also, Stomping Tantrum got. I'm gonna tell another lie here, guys. If you saw it here first. Sometimes I lie about Stomping Tantrum because adding the plus there makes it take up. Oh wait, no, it works now. Why did it not work? Anyways, we're good. No, oh wait, what is changing the color? Bro, what? Look at this. Yo, look at your screen. If you're what the fuck? Look at this. It's brown. Change it to white, and it pushes it a layer down, bro. All right, let me just. There we go. All right. Anyway, yeah. I don't really know what to say. It's very self-explanatory. Like, not self-explanatory at all, actually, but it is very fun and diverse and versatile, and you can tell I'm bulk recording and running out of words to use. But overall, very fun mon. Even like Blast Burn, like giving him these cool fire moves by level up is fun. Blast Burn, Hydro Cannon, Draco Meteor is a really cool like triple combo of Draco Meteor variants. I love that. This guy would just be super fun to use, man. So yeah, thanks for listening. I appreciate it. If you made it to the end, leave a comment down below if you did. Hopefully I didn't miss too much stuff. I mean, there's some other stuff I could touch on, like Priority, Aqua Jet, Banded, Brute Force is pretty good. Throat Spray, Roar is pretty good. Oh, Draconic Voice, that's a good one. That's an exclusive move that I didn't bother listing here because it's not super interesting. It's just 120. Also, there's enough shit listed here, right? So I didn't list it, but essentially it's a 120 no drawback move. So that's even better than Draconic Beam, which deals recoil. So that encourages quick feat sets even more, right? Or special sets even more, despite how strong Brute Force is. So because there's a 0 drawback, meanwhile Dragon Hammer, you do take some recoil. Although, as I've said in other videos, recoil is pretty easy to mitigate in game. Overall, though, I think I've covered everything. Appreciate you listening to the end. I really do. So leave a comment down below if you made it to the end, and I'll be back for more videos coming up. Peace.